Hi all, my name is Jeff Hewlett. I'm a decision confidence builder. I'm a behavioral economist and I've been in banking and financial services most of my career. I'm also a faculty member at James Madison University and I'm a personal finance author. In our last vidcast, we introduced the best mindset and best practices for buying a car. In today's presentation, we will introduce part one of the car decision process and building confidence. Naturally, today's presentation will soon be followed by part two. Car buying is surprisingly complex. Auto buying has many criteria in deciding what is important to you. Plus, there are thousands of potential alternatives and financing questions. Then, negotiating with the salesperson adds even more spice. Car buying is one of many important life decisions benefiting from a consistent, repeatable decision process. Here's one of my happy car buying friends. She used my book, Making Choices, Making Money, and the smartphone tools to make a great car buying decision. Before we get into the process, first allow me to mention a handful of resources that will help you buy a car. The details can be found on the Curiosity Vine and through my book. First, choice architecture. We're going to consider choice architecture tools like that of Definitive Choice and the auto buying workflow. These are the essential tools to create and maintain a consistent, repeatable decision process in today's information overloaded world. Please pick up my book and for free access to these tools. Next are the direct auto lenders. I emphasize direct because order of operations matters when making a car purchase. Always get pre-approved for your auto financing before car negotiation. I've worked with these auto lenders before and have had some really good experiences, such as Cap One, Bank of America, Truist, and the Navy Federal and PenFed credit unions. Now, are the information aggregators. Companies like Bankrate Monitor and LendingTree aggregate lenders to make it easier to comparison shop. Then, when you think about the car alternatives, auto alternatives are aggregated by companies like TrueCars, Cars.com, and Facebook Marketplace. Here's the thing, the volume of data can be overwhelming, okay? So first, I recommend activating your decision process before jumping into the data. Again, order of operations matters. The final set of resources are where you can find more articles and vidcasts. Check out the Curiosity Vine for a curated set of articles from many expert contributors. jeffhewlett.com is where you can find my book and access to our personal finance curriculum. Finally, my vidcasts are a great source for short topical videos on a full range of personal finance topics. Now, we jump into part one of the 7-step process for making the best car buying decision. As a recommendation, we suggest you first go through the entire process without exploring the details. The important first step to car buying success is building a mental map of the entire car buying decision process. Once you get the feel for the forest, it will make more sense to learn about each tree, or in this case, the individual steps or the car buying process. Loading the smartphone app we recommend is also helpful at this point. It is good to start familiarizing yourself with the app and some of the other resources before jumping into the car buying model. Also, think of this presentation as a friend. Refer back to it often. Some concepts may make more sense after you get some hands-on experience. Step 1. Anchor your purpose by answering 3 key questions. Why, what, and which. First, the why purpose anchor. Why buy a car? Approaching car buying with the proper mindset and motivation is very important. We recommend sticking to objective car buying utility statements like, I need a car for safe transportation. Try to avoid emotional or less objective car utility statements like, I need a car because I like the technology, I like how it handles, I like how fast it goes, I like the color, I like how it smells. Use your objective why statement as your decision beacon. As you go through the car buying process, you will face choices faced with uncertainty. Use your beacon as a way to mediate those uncertainties. Let's face it, everyone has different preferences for buying a car. Even if you decide on a more emotionally grounded car buying utility statement, our approach will help you optimize your car buying experience. Now, next is the what purpose statement. What is the best transportation option? Do you even need a car? I know. This may seem obvious or a little bit like a strange question to ask, but bear with me for a second. Consider rideshare in public transportation as a viable economic substitute for car ownership. We encourage you to build a simple business case. Even if you decide car buying is the way to go, the process of validating your car buying need will be helpful in learning car ownership costs. You will likely be surprised by the many hidden and cumulatively significant costs of car ownership. These more hidden costs of ownership lack what behavioral economists call salience. Our brains naturally and inappropriately discount less salient costs. This knowledge provides the power to best manage your car's cost of ownership. Then, finally, is the which purpose anchor. Which is the best model year to purchase? And this is really about how to minimize the impact of depreciation risk. Okay? Now, assuming car ownership makes sense and is aligned with your car buying objective, a high priority goal should be to minimize exposure to depreciation risk. Most cars depreciate, meaning they go down in value over time. Differing auto models have unique depreciation performance. Also, buying an older car helps reduce depreciation risk. This occurs since the typical car depreciates quickly when it's newer, and the depreciation curves flattens as the car ages. However, an older car may have higher mileage. We provide an approach to consider older cars with lower mileage and great maintenance records as the way to manage depreciation risk. The idea is to seek value where others may not. Now, let's go on to step 2. Evaluate preferences and compare costs. Your objective should include buying a car to optimize the cost per remaining mile, or CPRM. Again, CPRM stands for cost per remaining mile. Our approach assumes a standard useful life, good for most cars. Then, I recommend you consider car buying alternatives, minimize the expected remaining mile cost based on your highest weighted preferences. Our decision app will help you create the perfect benefit model for you and to work through these cost per remaining mile calcs. In my book, an example is provided for how the CPRM approach was able to minimize upfront costs. It provided safe transportation and provided significant long-term value. The book gives you access to the car buying workflow and it helps you use our CPRM model. Plus, it helps you collect and sort your car buying alternatives. Now, on to step 3, the car loan pre-approval. This is the stage to determine how much you want to pay for a car. Also, if a loan is needed, now is the time to arrange financing. In terms of deciding how much you want to pay, this starts with your car buying anchor from step 1. Using an auto data search aggregator, as mentioned earlier, search for cars that meet this purpose and sort them from lowest to highest in terms of cost. The ones at the top of the list will give you an idea of the current market price. The difference between this estimated market price and the cash you have available for a car purchase is the amount you need to finance. Pre-arranged financing is important before you have a discussion with the car seller. We will discuss negotiations a little later. Getting pre-approved is the critical first step to building a strong negotiating position. By the way, some banks have different names for their auto loan pre-approval program, but they all pretty much do the same thing. They give you upfront confidence in terms of what financing options are available to you. Now, as a word of caution, you may feel the desire to figure out what payment can I afford. This is natural. and then you do this to back into the car price. This mindset may lead to economic discrimination and not getting a car that optimizes your preferences. The point of this article is to help you get the biggest bang for your buck. Trust the process. This wraps up part 1 for the car buying process and building decision confidence. In the next vidcast, we will finish walking through this process. As always, achieving conviction in your confidence and great personal finance outcomes starts with a consistent, repeatable decision process. Car buying is one of the many great examples and can be helpful for routinizing your personal finance decision process. Check out my book for suggestions and tools to help you create a lifetime of great personal finance decisions. But until next time, you've got this.